Hey, what's up, guys? Little man with a big opinion here. Today's video, I'm going to talk about how much it costs to store 1 year's worth of rice for one person. The point of this video is there are dozens of stories and articles coming out from different industry leaders, different economic experts, and the goalpost is shifting and continually to get longer and longer on when they think prices will go back to normal. Some of the other prepping channels that I watch, um, some of them are just putting out doom and gloom. It's not going to go back to normal for a decade. It's not going to go back to normal till 2025. Some of the earliest estimates is next summer or even the summer of 2023. Things will kind of start to go back to normal. Um, so, as a prepper, if prices of goods aren't going to go back to normal, they're still talking about um, this, what they're calling a great resignation, the number of people that are quitting their jobs, partially because of, they were making more money on government unemployment, partially because of dealing with, their freedoms on whether their jobs are requiring them to get this newest vaccine or not. And a lot of people are standing their ground saying, if you want to require this, then I'll go work somewhere else. I'll deal with that later. Um, Tie that in with different food shortages because these workers aren't working in these industries. The big deal with what's going on right now is there's a lot more taking from the system than there is putting back into the system. And that's mostly due to the massive amount of funding that is going into unemployment, housing assistance, all these other things. There's a very large amount of people in the United States that are happy with the bare minimum. They've got their house, they've got their food, and they've got just that little bit extra to keep themselves entertained, and that's good enough for them. So, the price guide that I have based on the rice for this video, and I chose rice because, in theory, you could live off of just rice. The North Vietnamese Army and the Viet Cong did it for large portions of the Vietnam War. Is mostly due to its shelf life. If stored properly, you're looking at 25 plus years. Um, Price per pound, uh, what I looked at was either 32 or 34 cents a pound. And it's fairly cheap to repackage it into long term food storage solutions. But it's not completely necessary for the sake of this video. It will just take some time on your part. My number is based off of a 2,000 calories a day. I was thinking about doing a 3,000 calorie, but the main point of this is once I tell you the price of the rice, then it should embolden you to go ahead and go make that purchase. If you're new to prepping, I would say it's fairly inexpensive to put away a year's worth of rice. And when I say a year's worth, I'm talking about calories. You will get the necessary carbs you need, but other micro and macronutrients rice is lacking. I wouldn't push just eating rice longer than a year in like a total SHTF situation. But if you have other ways to supplement the rice, whether it's through hunting, fishing, other farming needs, then definitely add that in. But the main purpose is you've got a year's worth of rice for one person. And you just multiply it by 2 if it's you and a spouse, 3 if you got one kid, 5 if you got a kid and grandparents, or just whatever your number is. multiply the number that I'm talking about. So, one 50-pound bag of rice from Sam's Club, their Members Mark rice, is going to cost you $17.32. This rice is just regular long grain white rice. I'll go show y'all the bag that I have in the living room, just to show that it's a good sized bag. So you get the Members Mark rice, just plain Jane rice. Goes for about $17. Inside that bag of rice is 80,640 calories, which comes out to slightly over 40 days worth of food. So for $17, you can secure 40 days worth of food for yourself if you're by yourself. The math on that comes out to 9.05 bags, so I just went ahead and rounded up to 10. And at that price, you're looking at $173.23. That's not including, a storage method. If you haven't seen my 5-gallon buckets that I put Mylar bags inside of, that is one of the better storage methods for this. And the reason why preppers put it in a Mylar bag with an oxygen absorber is when you remove the oxygen from that environment, it makes it to where the bug eggs and other insects that are inside of the bag, if they don't have oxygen, they won't hatch, they won't contaminate your food, they won't eat it and do that sort of thing. The other thing that I did is, and it goes along the same line, is if you freeze your rice for 3 to 5 days, I err on the side of caution and just do it for 5 days, then this also kills the bug eggs within your food. So in theory, you don't have to put it inside of a Mylar bag. You put it inside the bucket because while the bags are tough, the bucket keeps mice, raccoons, any other small game from getting inside of it. These come in, the same style bag of food like your dog food comes in. It's like a very strong woven plastic. So if you have a place that you can store it where, bugs aren't going to mess with it. And like I said, this is a very cheap method of storing the calories that you need. Then you can do that while you save the money to put it inside of Mylar bags, 5-gallon buckets, or mason jars. And you can buy the mason jars from Walmart in packs of 12. Or a cheaper option that I've started doing is going to garage sales. A lot of the times they'll sell the jars for like 5 to 25 cents. And that is another cheap way of storing your rice. Like inside this prepper closet that I got as I drop stuff. This is a batch I did up just the other day. It's a 1/2-gallon jar. And the reason why I like jars is depending on the size of the Mylar bag you do, whether it's 5 gallons or 1 gallon, just having different sized jars so you're only reintroducing oxygen to small amounts at a time. You could even go lower and do quart-sized jars. And then if you were really going nuts, this rice I stored when I was 15, so it's getting pretty close to 10 years old. and no issues with it. After you've purchased these items, it's best to keep them in a cool, dark, dry place. So I just got the prepping closet, throw the stuff in there. Even, hall light and, home light isn't going to be a big issue, but keeping it inside the closet just lowers the light contamination even more. If they go inside of Mylar bags in a 5-gallon bucket, you really don't have to worry much about a light issue. You just have to worry about cool and dry in that situation. And another thing is mixing the rice with chicken. Those are mostly the two main ingredients in your standard dog food or cat food. Um, if you cook the rice a little bit longer, let it get more almost like paste like, and you can smush it down and mix it in with that kind of stuff. It makes a excellent alternative for your cat and dog food. Rice, they're getting their grains, their carbs. Chicken, they're getting their protein that they need. And just expanding further, your pets are part of your family. You don't want them to uh, suffer, so you prep for them as well. I have done a mixture of this for the cats and the dogs before, and it didn't last very long, so I think they like it even more than their just standard, cat food and dog food. But $173 for one person for an entire year is not that expensive. It comes out to about $12 a month to feed one person. Uh, so you can break it down even further, like I did. That one bag is a little over 40 days. If you picked up one bag of rice, each month, then at the end of the year, you'd hit that one. Um, you'd hit that 1 year caloric goal, and after that, rice is a very good base for a lot of the meals. So you stored up the rice. You and your family aren't going to go hungry. Then you store up the canned chicken. So you might not have a year's worth of canned chicken, but you've got 2 months worth of chicken and rice. It's a lot better than just rice. You do some canned beef and some gravy. You got another meal right there. You mix in some beans and some seasoning. Another meal right there. There is a endless list of recipes that rice can be involved in. Um, the big main point of this is for fairly cheap, you can guarantee have peace of mind that you can at least feed your family, feed yourself in a grid down situation. And hopefully most grid down situations wouldn't last an entire year. So it's not like you're going, man, we're on day 85 of eating nothing but rice. No, it's, the power went out for 3 days and it was the easiest thing for us to cook. I lost my job and it took me, 3 weeks to find another one. So instead of worrying about spending my limited resources on food, I ate rice a lot, but I mixed it in with some of the other stuff I had in my fridge. There is a endless list of reasons why it's a good thing to store this much rice, and if y'all would like me to, I can do the math up on how much it costs for 5-gallon buckets and Mylar bags, and also mason jars for this as well. But if you're freezing it, you're eliminating the possibility of bugs. Now you just have to deal with external threats. So if you found this information useful, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. If you have a friend or family member that would benefit from the discussion we had in this video, then share the video with them, and I'll catch you in the next one.